And let's check in with Beth Ruyak. Beth?
I want to tell you a story here. 5 years ago, the Brazilian gymnastics team was on a bus on the way to competition. 6 members of the team, 2 coaches, and some other civilians from the town. A driver in a truck in an oncoming lane fell asleep at the wheel and hit the bus head on. 6 passengers, the civilians, were killed. A number of the gymnasts were injured. The coach, Georgette Vidor, suffered a spinal injury. She was paralyzed from the waist down. One of her gymnasts continued competing. She is Daniele Hippolito, who is competing here today. She has continued with her gymnastics training under Georgette. However, when she came to the American Cup, she came with a different coach. Georgette decided not to make the trip. So she came with Ricardo Pereira, who was supposed to be on the bus that day and didn't because his girlfriend talked him out of it. Now, there was a surprise waiting for the Brazilian gymnast Daniele last night after she finished practice. Back at the hotel, Georgette had decided to fly in and surprise Daniele. And Daniele, when she showed up, had that typical, I think, teenage look of surprise on her face. And it was a very nice reunion for them. They are both very big stars back in Brazil. Daniele, because she has continued and just won the first World Championship medal for Brazil in gymnastics ever. She competed in Sydney, and she's aiming for her next Olympics. Georgette today is here watching her in the stands. The two say they feel good when they're together. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Beth, and Daniele will be on the uneven bar. She's a 5-time Brazilian national champion, and as Beth said, won the first ever World Championship medal for Brazil when she took a silver in the floor exercise, her favorite event. Lives in Rio, born in Sao Paulo.
When we're talking about surprises, she was 4th in the all-around in Ghent. Nobody would have suspected that. The 2 powers, the Netherlands and Brazil, emerged from those World Championships with just incredible results.
Especially when you see that Daniele's results back at the '99 World Championships. She was 27th in the all-around.
And then was 20th in the Olympics, and then comes up to be 4th at the World Championships. It was one of the shocks of the entire competition.
And Tom, her coach here, Ricardo, says there's newfound confidence. She believes she can be at the top now with all the world best. She has that world medal. She's now gunning for an Olympic medal in 2004.
And we have seen a little bit of balance checks throughout the uneven bar competition.
3 out of the 4 athletes so far have fallen.
If there's an event that they point to on the women's side, and a lot of people don't like the new rules, they say that it is too hard on even bars, very difficult to get a big start value. What ends up happening is the gymnasts don't have that start value. They push themselves. They do maybe a little bit more than they're capable of doing at that time, and sometimes you have a mistake.
And remember, we're just the 2nd year into this new code of points for many of the athletes. It's still trial and error. They're still working on routines. It's not unusual for them to still be selecting elements that will carry them through the next 2 years towards 2004. And that's our coach, Georgette Vidor.
And we'll have Daniele's score in a moment, but let's check in with Sean Townsend with his vault. Sean, the U.S. national champion and world champion on parallel bars. Here's his vault.
And he will do the same vault that we saw Baresh do. Handspring, 2.5 front, 3 times around.
Nice looking.
I'll tell you. Good job. Been doing that bad boy for a long time, but that's big.
Nice ball.
I agree, big time.
All right, we'll have Hippolito's score on the uneven bars and Sean Townsend's vault score when we return to the Visa American Cup.
Check the trash can.